The group came back and the customers got off and a guy ran up to me and he was like, "That's the most fun I've ever had in my life. Thank you so much." And
high praise.
like, yeah.
High
And
praise.
we hear that all the time.
Let's go. Oh yeah, let's go. Hey.
Welcome everybody. This is very exciting. Today we are closing out season 1 of Franchise or Bust. And what better way to do it? I don't want you to look for inspiration in the sky. I don't even want you to think about baking a warm apple pie, because today with us we have from TourScale, it's Kai.
Woo!
Kai.
Woo!
I'm the closer, season closer.
He's the season 1 closer. We couldn't be ending on a stronger note. Kai is with us. In his former life, he gave stand-up comedy a try, and we're gonna, maybe we can squeeze a joke at him. You never know. But really, what we're here to talk about is what Kai is up to with his franchise brand, TourScale. So Kai, for the multitude of listeners out there, in particular Kai's mom, who we want to say hello to, right out the gate.
Hey, Mom.
Yep, hello. Tell us a little bit about TourScale. What do you guys do? Why is it so fun? So we can learn a bit about that, and then everyone wait at the end. Kai and I will both tell our best jokes, and then that way you have something to look forward to. Take it away, Kai.
No pressure. Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Trevor. I'm excited. So TourScale is a tour and activity franchise. We currently offer 3 different brands: Paddle Pub, which is a pedal-powered boat tour experience; Trolley Pub, which we offer pedal-powered parties on the land; and then Tiki Pub, which, as you might suspect, involves a tiki boat and drinking. So we've been around for 2 years, so we're an emerging brand, newer franchise, and we've grown rapidly, and we're really excited. We're really focused on the unique tour experience. So we try to offer brands that can bring large groups of people together. And we think that's a niche in the market that's needed. If you get a big group together and you think about, well, what can we do? A lot of times it's like, hey, we can go to dinner. We might go axe throwing or something like that. But there's definitely a need in the market for these larger groups. And that's really what we focus on as a brand.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned that you guys are emerging and kind of getting started. I definitely think, having a brand that's focused a lot around fun and a lot around entertaining is obviously really cool for a lot of folks. But outside of, outside of the consumer themselves, let's talk maybe just a little bit about what it means to get started and what it means in the emerging phase of your brand. What have you found to be some of the some of the challenges as you guys get off the ground in the franchise world, but also maybe not just the challenges. What have been some of the really encouraging and positive learnings that you guys have seen that you're looking to carry on as you map out your goals in your future?
Yeah, so we started as operators first for a long time. At the time we launched the franchise, we had been owning and operating our own tour businesses across the country for 8 years. And we kind of backed our way into franchising. We kind of hit a wall with our scaling the business, and we realized at a certain point, the need to hire middle management, kind of losing contact with day-to-day operations in these different cities. We realized we needed to find a new model, and because we had gotten into manufacturing, we were constantly being asked by people for consulting, or can we license the brand to do this? So we kind of launched the franchise by popular demand, which is a good position to be in, because people were asking us, for this offering. But it's a lot of work. We came in really green. We knew a lot about how to manage and run our own business. We needed to learn how to package that together in a turnkey way and offer the training for new business owners to help them become successful. So it was definitely a steep learning curve. The biggest challenges, I think, right away is just figuring out the onboarding and training process for the new franchisees. we had a lot of materials and workflows put together for our existing staff, but we had to modify that for local owners in mind, and we had to add things like finance and legal and kind of the higher level business advice that we didn't typically have materials for, let's say, some of our managers. And we really didn't do a lot of outreach to potential franchisees because we have such a good position in our market. We're the largest party bike operator in the country and the largest cycle boat operator. So we had already established ourselves in the community as a market leader. So people frequently reached out to us. And because we were building the assets, people reached out to us at the very beginning of their entrepreneurial journey. They're like, hey, I want to start a cycle boat in Daytona Beach, and they give us a call, and then I can say, hey, I can sell you a cycle boat. You can figure this out on your own, or we can give you the franchise where you have the website, the booking software, the insurance program, the training, and most people opt for the second for obvious reasons. So we had to build all that stuff, right, from nothing and not having any franchise background. So we read a lot of books. We hired a law firm to kind of explain the regulatory aspect of it because it's a highly regulated industry. So that's how we got started, and it took off right away. I think when we first thought about franchising, we were like, let's give this a shot, and if we only get one or two franchises a year, like that's fine. We still love what we're doing, and it's not like we had raised money or had debt or anything. But instead, it exploded. We grew from 0 to 33 units in less than 2 years. So alongside came a lot of growing pains.
That's a significant amount in a short time, especially for kind of a self-started, self-funded group. So first of all, congratulations. But yeah, it's certainly those familiar with the franchise space, when they hear that type of growth in a quick time period can really appreciate not only that's awesome, because if you stayed on that clip, if you were doing 20, 30 every 18 months and kind of opening them up and being rolling, you got a pretty healthy franchise system in 5 years or so. But as you mentioned, some of those challenges definitely come in the details. It's a lot different than just owning your own business, really making sure that all the legal and everything else is buttoned up to actually have a scalable system in place to grow and be able to sustain and handle that growth. Is that something that you guys are kind of looking at now and saying, hey, that was tough, but now we're ready to rock and roll and grow this thing because we you've got the framework in place?
Yeah. Our first vision of what this looked like was kind of a lightweight franchise that was a kind of alliance of operators where we're providing really basic resources. We're kind of taking the lessons we learned, the training materials, and not a bare bones franchise, but a pretty light one. I think in the first year and a half, I realized that we could do a lot more. And so at that point, I think we decided to build what we call the TourScale platform. So this is a series of tools and systems and processes to make the franchise on our side, the franchisor side, more scalable, but also to provide some of these larger business tools to small business owners that they might not usually have access to. So we have pretty ambitious plans of bundling these services for our franchisees in terms of marketing, finance and metrics, operations, kind of bringing the best practices from the mid-market, industry and allowing local business owners to have those tools. So, and then on our side, I think we grew too fast, and we realized that. We're lucky we have a great relationship with our franchisees. It's kind of at this point, as a small franchise, like a family, but we realized it wasn't sustainable that we were doing it. For instance, every new franchise that is open, I've flown out personally and done the training, which is great. Obviously, I can't continue to do that forever, or my wife will kill me. So I've had to, we've had to learn how to, build out an LMS so that we can have video content, training materials, hire other people to be trainers, to systematize the different workflows we have with onboarding by using a franchise management platform. So we're in the middle of that process now, building the TourScale platform, which we hope to have complete by the end of the year. And I want it to encompass all those factors on the back end to make our services scalable, and then for our franchisees to give them access to all these tools and services in a way that makes it affordable for them and makes it easier to run their business.
One of the things that we hear a lot when we're speaking to various franchise brands is the ones that really take off are the ones who have that strong process kind of system and everything built out at the franchisor level. They focus on that and really key in on that, because franchisees, that's what they're buying. They're buying a business that's supposed to work, basically. They're essentially saying like, okay, I'm going to buy this thing and it should essentially be processed for me and be ready to go and be somewhat turnkey. As long as I work hard and I pay attention to the details, this thing should work. And to your point, really putting in that effort at the franchisor level and making sure those things are set up is really kind of a big driver into what scalability would be. And I can't tell you how many times Katie has been on the phone with one of these franchise brands and been like, excuse me, you guys are not processed out enough. And then boom, right there, they hear it and it's all over. Right, Katie?
Tell it right to their face and just say it.
Yeah, she tells it like it is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like we need to have that lecture here. And that's I'm glad, Kai, because I was a little worried that she might have jumped in a minute here in just a second.
You got to be careful. I'll just jump in.
That's right.
It's hard work. Yeah, we're lucky in that we're approaching this early. If I had not hit the pause button, right, and said no more new franchise launches for the year, which I decided in the summer, it's easy to chase growth and be like, okay, another one, I'll take another one. But in the long run, you have to hit the pause button at a certain point and say, we have to have a platform that can support our current level of scale and that's scalable in the future. And I realized that we didn't have that. And that's what we spent a lot of time trying to build. But it's really hard work, and it's really hard to make the decisions about what's the most important thing for our franchisees and to make us efficient, And so we used a lot of surveys. I surveyed my franchisees and said, what are the biggest pain points? What are you spending time on that you don't feel like you have to? And, you see the trend, the things that come up frequently. And I'm like, these are the core elements that will make this a scalable system, and you don't want to just throw like 50 tools at them and give them all these apps and software. And we have 2 marketing firms. I want it to be like simple, like for each pain point is a solution that's straightforward. And it's an interesting process. It's been taking up most of my time.
Cool. So yeah, definitely establishment of the processes, et cetera, is super important. But then even as you move, into as you guys start to grow again in 23 and you've got your processes in place, talk a little bit about how you guys are approaching potential franchisees with kind of, and you said it took off, you've got the manufacturing, which is really cool. There's a lot of really interesting things to your brand. But what are some kind of unique, values that you have for potential franchisees, or what's the main kind of attraction for, like, if I'm a franchisee and I'm listening to this and Kai says, hey, this is why TourScale is really cool for you to be attracted to them. It could be anything from, what the expected, revenues are to just kind of the fun of it, or what type of person might be attracted to you all to be a franchisee. But maybe talk about it from, again, just kind of the franchisee perspective. What should they be looking for?
I like to look at the perspective of the reason why I did it. When I started this business way back in, I guess it was 2011, I was a lawyer, and I was on a trip to Raleigh where we had just opened our second location, and this business was just a side project for us. And I had a job and everything in a life back in Texas, and I watched the tour come back and to the warehouse where we were at, which was this old dinky warehouse. Just like this thing was interesting, an old like run down, like the pipes would burst. But the group came back and the customers got off, and a guy ran up to me and he was like, "That's the most fun I've ever had in my life. Thank you so much." And literally, like, yeah,
High
and
praise.
we hear that all the time. Like, this is a normal occurrence for people to tell us that they've had the most fun they've had in their life, that they've made incredibly unique bonding experiences with their coworkers. We've had people get married because they met on the trolley pub or paddle pub as complete strangers. I have a pretty grandiose vision. Like, it's in my signature line on my email. It's to be a unifying force in the world. And I just believe in that passionately. And I've noticed our potential franchisees, I mean, they get it. They share the vision, I think, at the end of the day about the customer experience. And that's what I look for in potential franchisees. Like, yes, they have to have the financial qualifications and be able to afford the investment and have the time and energy to devote to the business. But to me, it's about being aligned with the vision of our company, which is to be a unifying force. We want to create exceptional activities that bring people together. And there's not a lot of businesses that do what we do, is put people right in front of each other, right? You're sitting right across from each other. You're going to spend 2 hours with these people, and you're probably going to have a few drinks. But you're doing something really unique. Like, you're in a parade. Everyone sees you go by. You're listening to your favorite songs. It's like a wedding, 50 times a day in one of our cities with all these tours, and sometimes with complete strangers. So I guess that's it, right? Like, the most important thing is sharing the vision. Financially, it's a great business. We get different sorts of franchisees. I think there's probably 3 different categories. There's like the young, ambitious category. So these are people out of college who maybe working at Accenture, or maybe they're working at Ernst & Young or at a tech company, and they just kind of want to do their own thing. And rather than go and do the normal startup thing, which is, I have an app that'll find the best color Band-Aid for you at Rite Aid, some really specific niche tech play, which tends to be like gambling. They want to do something real and concrete and something that's fun and enhances their own lifestyle. It's a great business for that. We also get, on the other end of things, people close to retirement age who are looking for a retirement job that, again, has this sort of great lifestyle. For boat tours, that's perfect. You can get your captain's license. You're going to take people out on the water. Fantastic retirement job. And then in the middle, we have just sort of probably the most common one we have are existing tour operators. They're buying into our franchise to add an additional revenue stream to their existing tour operation. They might be doing escape rooms, but they're going to buy a trolley pub, or maybe they have pontoon boat rentals or other sorts of boat tours, but they're going to add paddle pub to the fleet. But rather than try to have to learn a whole new niche, they can just buy the business package that includes the branding, the marketing, the booking system. It makes it kind of a turnkey way of adding additional revenue to their existing business. Because they have management and some infrastructure set up, it tends to be a really high margin addition to their existing business. So we've kind of set up to appeal to all 3 of those main categories.
That's gonna make your recruitment efforts much easier. Really understanding who you can go out, and the fact that who you're going after is pretty diverse group. I mean, you basically said from college age all the way up to retirement, so you've got everything in between.
And it's a business that has relatively low startup expenses, compared to the amount of revenue you can make. And as opposed to the vast majority of franchises out there, is your startup capital is going into something that holds its value really well. When you buy like a pizza franchise or, a food service or even a gym, a large part of your startup expenses is like, okay, it's a massive franchise fee to Anytime Fitness. I'm sure those guys are great. but most of your money goes into the real estate. You're not going to buy the building. Usually you're going to pour all that money into this big old build out on a lease on property you don't own. With us, the vast majority of money goes into an asset. And so, rather than being an expense, it goes right on your balance sheet. So it's a really nice investment because most of your money goes into tangible assets, which makes it financially really appealing. And it's a mobile asset.
Yeah,
you can move it if it doesn't do good in this town, which I guess it could happen. You're just go to the town next door. You can't pick up your Anytime Fitness, and I mean you need a lot of logistics to pick a whole building up, but like we can move, so it's flexible.
You'd have to be pretty fit to pick up that building. I mean, that's I think that's more than Anytime Fitness can provide. That level of fitness.
That would be a great selling point.
That would be pick up a building if you work out at Anytime Fitness. I think that it's really cool to hear a lot of that because the folks that we've talked to, especially in the emerging space in particular, they've got a leader who has like experience, kind of entrepreneurial experience, but more importantly, they stay really focused in on what is that vision? What are our core values? What is our mission? What are we trying to do at the end of the day? And at the end of the day, you're trying to have your consumers have a good time. If your customers have fun and they love it and they want to do it, word's going to spread. More people will do it. They'll come back and do it again. And like you said, you're kind of creating happiness and happy memories. And that's something, that's an inelastic product. Joy and happiness is something that never goes away. Not to drop my Econ 101, knowledge on you guys by using fancy words like inelastic, but those are, it's true. Those are the things that they don't go away. People love to have fun and having that be kind of a part of your core mission and what you provide is huge.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I'm doing this. I've dedicated my life to it. I took a huge pay cut, 11 years ago. And didn't even mind because I liked what I do so much, and I'm blessed. I'm very lucky now that I've made a career out of this. But at the end of the day, it's really because I'm passionate about that, about making people happy and giving them these unique experiences. That I'm still doing this, and I just never stopped. We just never stopped growing, and I'd like to spread it as much as we can.
Amazing. And are you guys, so if you had to choose between one of the three, the tiki, the boat, or the pedal, what would you say is your favorite?
As a customer?
Yeah.
Well, I would say the tiki pub. That's just me because I've done the other ones so many times.
Yeah.
And we just launched this in August, so it's still new and fresh. But I will say I've been on hundreds of trolley pub tours. And I've probably driven hundreds because when I started this, I was the driver, the janitor, the mechanic. I did everything. And I still, when I do a tour, 11 years later, I still have fun on a trolley pub, which is kind of weird. You would think I would hate it after doing it so many times. But I still think it's a blast because it's about the other people, and it's not about. We're not really selling. The experience can be very similar in all three concepts. We're not really selling like the pedal powered bike. We're selling putting people together in this setting so that they can have fun together. And that's what keeps it fresh. We have customers that come back every single year or multiple times a year, and they're still doing it because the people make the experience great. So
anytime you can mix someone who has done all the jobs in the franchise system, really understands it from point A to point Z, and also has clear business experience, passion, joy for what they're doing, it's not going to bust. It's going to franchise. Is it franchise or it's franchise or Katie? We don't even need to spin the wheel. This guy's going to make it. There's no busting going on here. We know what's going to happen. No, sir. So outstanding, man. We love to hear all this. We love to hear, your drive and passion to succeed. and really just looking forward to watching the brand grow, over the next year or so. And shoot, at the clip you were on before you hit the pause button, I think these things can be popping up all over the place when you're ready for it too.
Oh, it will.
It will.
Yeah.
Enough
Yeah,
said.
thank you, Trevor.
It's coming. All right, good deal. Well, Kai, any closing remarks you'd like to make on behalf of TourScale? We've really enjoyed learning about your brand and just about you and the passion you bring and the I think just the general fun that people need to be on the lookout for when they see one of you all's one of your tours in their area.
Yeah, just I appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast. If anyone is interested in learning more, they can go to TourScale.com. Which highlights the different brands and franchise opportunities we have. And I'm always happy to talk. When you call the number, you go straight to the top to me. I talk to everybody, and I'd be happy to do a market analysis for any location in the country. And, we pride ourselves on selling it to people straight. If I don't think it's a good business opportunity or market, I let you know. So reach out and we'll be happy to talk to you.
That's it. It's not every day you get to talk to the CEO. Trust me, you call up LSM and you're not talking to me. So this guy clearly still engaged, still passionate.
I'm just less important than you at this point.
That cannot be true.
I still clean my office. I sweep up in here every day. Clean out the trash.
That is good.
Well, I will. Okay, if that signifies importance, then yes, I am more important than you. If that's the scale we're working on. All right. Well, listen, I'll start us off. We're closing out season 1. Kai, we've really appreciated it so very much. Everything you've talked about today is a reflection of what we've really seen throughout these, I don't know, Katie, what's it been, 12 or so, 12 to 15 episodes that we've done. Every time we speak to folks, whether they're emerging or they're an established franchise brand, the way we know they're going to be successful is that they're truly committed to what their core values are, what their mission is, and they're laying those things out. And everything kind of revolves around that. So we've seen that with you. We're really excited for TourScale. And with that, I just have one last question. How deep does a frog stand in water?
How deep? There we go. There we go.
Wow.
All right.
Fantastic.
You brought the house down with that one.
And
What do you call it?
Yes, I am.
What do you call a fish with no eyes?
Oh.
Yes.
You guys,
Comedy gold.
you need to
Comedy gold.
hit the stage.
If there are any 6-year-olds out there listening, you're very welcome for those jokes. I'm sure you enjoyed them as our 6-year-olds do.
I got one for older folks, but I don't think we want to say them.
Okay, we'll save that. We'll save that for any of the folks that will be joining us at the Emerging Franchisor Conference here in Nashville. You'll be able to see Kai and myself, and we'll be there for anybody out there listening. It's a great event coming to Nashville November 2nd through the 5th. TourScale is going to be there. LSM is going to be there, and a lot of other folks. So, Kai, we appreciate it, and we hope that this 28 or so minutes was long enough for the thousands of fans listening to Franchise or Bust, but the one most important Kai fan out there who's listened to this every minute of this interview.
Love you, Mom.
That's it. Thanks, everybody. Adios.